Thank you. Thanks all for coming. Thanks.
It's been a good turnout.
Yeah.
4 people. Me, you, and the mirrors. But it's 2015, and that means only one thing. What was the best game of 2014? For that, I think we need a montage, Dan.
We need a montage. Sunset Overdrive. Far Cry 4.
Super Smash Bros. Wii U. The Evil Within.
The Sims 4.
Tales of Hearts R. South Park, The Stick of Truth.
Thief.
Infamous Second Son.
Mario Kart 8. Dark Souls 2.
Shovel Knight.
The Last of Us Remastered.
Middle-earth, Shadow of Mordor. Grand Theft Auto 5 Remastered.
Watch Dogs. Alien Isolation.
Halo Master Chief Collection.
Unfortunately, we've had to cut the list down to a choice selection, and after much deliberation we've chosen our picks that won't be going any further than this video. So, honourable mentions will go to... The Sims 4. The Sims 4 was as predictably brilliant as we expected, with numerous tweaks and additions that helped make the 4th instalment one of the best in the Sims franchise. Unfortunately, it also had its fair share of bugs and omissions that to this day we're still not sure why Max left them out of the core game.
Shovel Knight. Shovel Knight was a delightful trip down retro lane, with bright, colourful 8-bit graphics, and a knight with a shovel as both a tool and a weapon. Old school platforming at its finest, Shovel Knight was as good in its gameplay as it was in its deliciously great design. I don't think we need to say much more than that.
Tales of Hearts R. Tales of Hearts R was one of the few PS Vita titles we enjoyed through 2014, and JRPG fans can rejoice in knowing it's one of the best RPGs of the year. Engaging combat, hilarious dialogue and a deep rich story all help to bring the tale of core to life. And you can play it while you're on the train, in the house or taking a shit. Excellent.
Watch Dogs. Watch Dogs was a funny title. One of the biggest hypes of the year, or 2 years if you include the 2013 build-up. And it turned out to be a mixed bag of emotions. Aidan Pearce's adventure is one you'll either enjoy or one that will make you hate Ubisoft for not quite living up to the expectations it claimed. We actually really enjoyed it, and whilst it wasn't the all-amazing game we were led to believe, it's still a highly enjoyable and engaging adventure.
The Last of Us Remastered. The Last of Us was easily one of the most gorgeous, thrilling and emotionally involving games of the year. Then, The Last of Us Remastered was released for the PlayStation 4 and it became an even more gorgeous, thrilling and emotionally involving game of the year. Whilst we don't merit The Last of Us Remastered as a new game, because well, it isn't, we merit it on being what it is, an amazing game, that if you missed out last gen you owe it to yourself to see it in its 1080p, 60 frames per second glory, complete with the amazing Left Behind campaign DLC.
Grand Theft Auto 5 Remastered. Yet another remastered release. Grand Theft Auto 5 is still the great game we played last year, only this time it's packing better graphics, more details, various tweaks and an all new first person mode. We were sceptical at first about the value of the re-release, but after playing it, it's hard not to recommend it. It's better than the original in every way, which, considering the original was pretty amazing, makes the next gen remake pretty darn good. You can even eat a flower and turn into a seagull and shit on people.
Halo Master Chief Collection. Oh, what's this? Another remaster. It's okay though, because this one packs 4 games spanning over 14 years. Although it actually doesn't, seeing as the first Halo Combat Evolved is the 2011 remake of the 2001 game. We're on to you, 343 Industries. And you get remastered versions of Halo Combat Evolved, Halo 2, Halo 3 and Halo 4. Personally, Combat Evolved feels too floaty and not next-gen enough to warrant a proper playthrough, but Halo 2 through 4 is a blast. Halo 4 in particular looks gorgeous, but the most work has gone into Halo 2. It's a top-notch, remastered collection, and you even get access to the Halo 5 multiplayer beta. Kudos for the chief!
And with those out of the way, let's move on to the main discussion at hand, with the remaining nominations, starting with Far Cry 4.
Yes, Far Cry 4. An excellent open world, free roaming, action adventure. It's a brilliant game. It looks amazing. The story is as engaging as any of the other Far Crys that have come before it. And with things like the multiplayer and DLC options also in the background, you know that there's going to be so much more that comes from this in future.
Yeah. Excellent game.
Absolutely.
Moving on from that, Super Smash Bros. Wii U.
Another excellent game, already very well established on the N64, and of course going through all the Wii U and the original Wii. But obviously there's a massive roster of characters in this one. It's as much fun as any of the others have been, which is what you can expect from Super Smash Bros. Now obviously we're aware that there is a 3DS version of this, but however, for something as prominent as Game of the Year, it has to be the Wii U version.
Yeah, they can't have a 3DS Game of the Year.
It would have to be pretty fucking spectacular to be.
It would have to be Smash Bros. But if Pokemon won't win it, Smash Bros. Won't win it. So
see, I was out of this whole list, I thought if there's one thing that's going to sort of slip under the radar, it would be something like Pokemon.
I don't think it's as massively popular as it was.
No, I
think
agree.
it still sells in spades, but
it does, yeah. But the thing is that it has become very watered down.
Yeah,
you know, so many. I think that's the kind of the curse of the successful game. As soon as they start releasing as many as, say, you know, Pokemon, Call of Duty, or any kind of sports game has, they always become just sort of watered down, and no one really, you know it's going to be interesting, it's going to be good, but it's just the same again and again, but with difference, you know.
The latest Pokemon is a remaster, so
of
Ruby and Sapphire.
A remake of a game that's not even the original.
Yep.
Okay.
Well, they've already done Fire Red and Leaf Green, haven't they? So.
Yeah, it's true. But anyway, yeah, I think Pokemon would be something that maybe kind of come in, you know, sort of paid off a few people and slip in for a Game of the Year, but it would have to be a hell of a one to beat some of the ones on our list. Next, though, we've got Sunset Overdrive.
Excellent game, really, really fun. It's probably the most different game on the list. There's not a lot of games like it. You can do ridiculously cool combos. It's very funny. The humour's very like Deadpool, like breaking fourth wall and stuff. Really nice graphics, kind of comic booky, cel shady, but still 3D. It's quite an odd mix, but massively fun. I really reckon if you've got an Xbox One, go and get Sunset Overdrive.
Excellent. Next one, Evil Within.
Yet another good game that kind of like came from nowhere. If you like Resident Evil 4, it's very similar. It's actually from the same person who made the idea for Resident Evil 4, so the controls are very similar. Graphics are great. It's a good horror game, but very hard, very, very difficult. Not forgiving in the slightest, but it's good. Moving on from that, Thief, one of the oldest games on the list from last year.
Yes.
Again, it's just a good game. I'm a big Thief fan myself, and I don't really rate it as high as the previous Thief games. It's still really good. It's a great introduction to new players who may not have played the older Thieves. But it's good. It's got a good story. It's got good gameplay. The only snag I'll put on it is the graphics are very poor. Not a next-gen title.
No.
Moving on from that though, South Park: The Stick of Truth.
Yes, South Park. Obviously, again, a kind of a surprise hit, with South Park games not exactly having the best history, with the exception of a couple games on, the
Chef's
N64
Love Shack
and the original PlayStation. But South Park came sort of in a bit of a different direction. It's coming in as a kind of a parody RPG. So obviously borrowing from a lot of different RPG games, but keeping the same South Park. It's just crazy, stupid, hilarious, obscene humour, and they've just managed to keep with everything perfect about the entire South Park universe. And if this is a sign of things to come with South Park games, then I cannot wait for anything more for this.
Yeah, fantastic game.
Absolutely.
Dark Souls 2.
Yeah, Dark Souls. Obviously, Dark Souls and Demon Souls are incredibly popular. Same with Evil Within for their levels of difficulty. But a very, very competent RPG kind of style, horror, survival kind of thing. But basically, your greatest challenge is the game's difficulty.
Yeah.
That is, I think it's sort of bragging rights that you really get out of it. Just say, yeah, I completed Demon Souls, Dark Souls, and Dark Souls 2. I'm the greatest gamer.
To be fair, if you have done all those 3 games, you're a much better gamer than we are.
Yeah, they are brutal at some points.
I'm really looking forward to Bloodborne on PS4, and it's a Dark Souls game. And I'm really looking forward to it, but I'm scared to play it because it's going to be so fucking hard.
Yeah, they are unfortunately brutal. But that, I don't know, it's kind of a one on its own. Yeah, it's the difficulty isn't annoying. You know, it's not like, oh, forget it, I can't do this, I'm just going to leave it for 3 weeks, then come back to it and do it first time. It's something you've just got to persevere with, but it's addictive. It's addictive to persevere to it. So that's an all-round good game. So that one's good. Next, however, is Infamous Second Son. Yes,
is actually the only PlayStation 4 exclusive on the list. Really good game. It's fun. Graphics are really nice. The story's good. Gameplay's good. If you're a fan of the old Infamous games, then I personally think this is the best one in the series. Delsin's powers, he's not just restricted to a power, he can switch between. He's got smoke, I can't remember any of the others actually saying that, but there's like 3 or 4 different powers, and you can switch between them, and they're all different, and it's a really fun game. So again, if you've got a PS4, go and get it if you haven't already.
Next, Mario Kart 8.
Yes, the only kind of racing game on here.
Kind of racing,
yeah. It is a racing game, I suppose.
Yeah,
but
I don't think anyone would buy a steering wheel seat to play Mario Kart there.
I would.
I'm sure you would.
It's just a massively fun game, and this is one of the main games that highlights the power of the Wii U. It's running 1080p, 60 frames per second. The graphics are phenomenal. It looks so fucking good. It's untrue. It really does put a lot of PS4 and Xbox One games to shame. It just looks great. Even in multiplayer, it doesn't slip up. You have no lag or anything. Just looks great. Love it.
I think both Mario Kart and Smash Bros are obviously the best multiplayer games of 2014. I don't think there's. We're obviously discounting things like Battlefield and Call of Duty and franchise sports games because they're exactly the same as any previous, and arguably these are as well, I suppose, but I don't think there's going to be anything as fun to get a bunch of mates around, pop a few beers, and just play the shit out of them.
I don't think you'd enjoy sit down, play Advanced Warfare, like you say, have a couple of beers, get a couple of mates around, have a couple of games. You'd have much more fun playing Smash Bros and Mario Kart.
Absolutely. I mean, the frustration levels with things like Call of Duty and stuff, you're just sitting there just calling everyone a wanker, everyone a fucker, just because you keep getting killed. And it is, after a while, you just sort of go, fuck it, I'm not playing this anymore, forget it.
Yeah.
And then you'd go and play Mario and just go, oh god, this is better.
This is so much fun.
Yeah.
And a lot of it will come down to luck as well. You can be amazing at Mario Kart, you can be amazing at Super Smash Bros, but if a shit player gets all the good power-ups, you're going to lose. So it comes down to luck, and that's what makes it so fun, because especially with Smash Bros, you could be winning and then you've lost just because of one mistake. Yeah. And that's what makes it so fun and tense and just exciting. It's amazing. So good. Middle-earth Shadow of Mordor.
Yeah, another one that kind of came out of nowhere, really. It certainly wasn't one we were too aware of when it came out. But if you take a Lord of the Rings game, say like Two Towers or Battle for Middle Earth or something like that, well, maybe not Battle for Middle Earth, but certainly any of the licensed games, the film licensed games, mix in a bit of Batman free-flow combat, throw in some Assassin's Creed sort of parkour and assassin kind of moves, and a fantastic Nemesis system, and you'll basically end up with Shadow of Mordor.
Yeah.
It's got fantastic reviews, people absolutely love it. And again, this is one similar to South Park, in which it sort of reinvigorated the franchise's video game side.
Yeah,
and it's something where people go, "Wow, that was excellent. What have they got next?" So again, I think this one could be a trendsetter for future Lord of the Rings games, and I hope that they do follow quite religiously. But I would like to see a sequel to this, because it has set the groundwork in for a really good sort of Lord of the Rings, kind of like Force Unleashed. Sort of happening between trilogies.
Yeah, kind of like it's kind of connected, but it's not connected.
Exactly, yeah. So you're still in the same universe, it's still the same lore, and you can explain. It expands on that.
Yeah,
and you get to experience it through somebody else's eyes, but in the same universe. So again, an all-round good game.
Yeah, excellent. And our final nomination, Alien Isolation.
Yeah, Alien
Another
Isolation. One of my absolute favourite games, I think. It is all about the atmosphere. It is just dripping with tension and fear, and it is just one of the scariest games, because the alien is just this unstoppable, unspeakable force, and there's nothing you can do except try and survive. So if you get it on something like the PlayStation 4, where things like the PlayStation camera are also an aspect of it, and microphones, if you make sound in your actual room, that can attract the alien as well. So they're trying to get it as immersive and as tense as possible, and I don't think I've really played a sort of a horror game that's kind of, I don't even know you'd call it sort of horror, but
I'd say survival horror.
It's survival horror, yeah, definitely. There's a lot of crafting, a lot of weaponry, but there's obviously more than just the alien to deal with.
Yeah.
But it looks amazing. The attention to detail is incredible, and you can tell that it's clearly guys who have either worked with the Aliens franchise films, or people who are just absolutely massive fans, and they have spent so much time and effort getting this absolutely just looking like it is, like you are on the Nostromo, or you are on its sister ship, the Torrens. Everything they've done has got purpose, and it's just beautiful.
It was after Colonial Marines. It was a blessing, really.
Absolutely. I mean, it sort of takes a couple of games for a franchise to sort of rebuild itself. Before, like Tomb Raider. Obviously, the first games were great because obviously no one played anything particularly like it. But then I can't remember what they're called, but there's like the anniversary one, and there's like Legacy. And then there's one where she had like an evil clone or something, and it just kind of bogs the series down, and you just sort of like, nah. But then they waited a whole bunch of years. They came back with the Tomb Raider reboot, and they just fucking nailed it.
Yeah, excellent game.
And yeah, I basically think that's exactly what they've done with the Alien games. Because I mean, most of them were sort of like NES, SNES, and PlayStation, and then they came out with the AVP game.
Well, yeah, it would have been the on PC. That was really good.
It was all right, yeah. And then Colonial Marines kind of ruined everything. And then it's been a few years later, they've come back and they've fucking nailed it.
Yeah. Oh no, I'm mistaken. I thought you was on about like the 90 something Aliens vs Predator game.
Oh no, not that one.
That was good. The newest AVP was fucking awful.
I don't know, it was good on multiplayer when you could sort of be an alien running around and stabbing people. It was great.
Shit. But that's all. They are all our nominations.
Absolutely.
We need to now narrow it down to one.
Well, I think the easiest way to do this is going to be to have it as if you were going to be going into Ladbrokes or some kind of bookies and saying 50 quid on bang for Game of the Year. What would you spend that lovely 50 quid on?
So I'm torn between two.
Let me see if I can guess. Far Cry?
Nope.
Oh. Sunset?
Nope.
Oh, thank God for that. In that case, I don't care.
South Park and Mordor.
Good choices. Good choices indeed.
Can I put my money on South Park, the Stick of Mordor?
Yeah, you could do.
No, I genuinely think they are. So I don't know. Oh, no, yeah, if I'm putting money on it, Shadow.
It's got to
of
be
Mordor.
one. It's got to be one. So
Shadow
you're going
of
with
Mordor.
Lord of the Rings, Middle Earth, Shadow
Yeah.
of Mordor. Excellent. And mine would easily go to Alien Isolation.
Yeah.
Only for the fact that because I haven't had much time with Far Cry 4, I don't think I can... Because obviously I've completed Alien and I've got the DLC for it and I can't wait to get stuck into that. But Far Cry, I know it will be brilliant. However, it's not quite as new for a franchise as something like Alien is. Because obviously they've not really done anything like Alien Isolation from the Sega guys. So
Condemned?
No, I mean Sega, because obviously Sega own Alien. I don't think they've done anything with Alien that's up to this level.
Yeah.
You know, Far Cry 3 was amazing, Blood Dragon is amazing, so Far Cry 4 is obviously still going to be amazing. Whereas the Alien series has had so many hits and misses, this one is so superb that I think this deserves recognition for being a fantastic game.
Well, they are our choices.
They are.
Our predictions being Middle Earth, Shadow of Mordor, and Alien Isolation. Who's going to be right, though?
Probably neither of us.
Neither of us, probably.
It'll be Call of Duty Advanced Warfare.
Exactly. That's what we should have put our money on. But
it's not my money, though, it's fine.
Yeah, we'll just spend it. It's not ours. On that, though, that's it. We've done it.
2014.
It's over
and out.
Get over it, Dan.
I'm already over it. I just have to try and remember to write 2015 from now on instead of 2014.
Yeah, I keep writing 14 for everything. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Usually takes me about 3 months to get over it.
It probably will, to be fair. But no, keep tuned because we've got plenty of stuff coming up for 2015 over on the channel, on the website. We've got new podcasts every week, videos every week, articles every week. And we shall be resuming our giveaways, so keep an eye on the Twitter and on the website for those.
Absolutely. What is the website again, Callum?
It's www.podcastversusplayer.com, or if you're a little bit British like, www.podcastversusplayer.co.uk.
Yes.
You can follow us on Twitter at podcastvplayer, and you can email us at playerversuspodcast, at gmail.com. And the YouTube channel is youtube.com/podcastversusplayer.
Yes, indeed.
Oh, got all them out of the way.
You did, well done.
I thought I was going to forget one. As I end the podcasts, the last 3 things you touched with your finger.
Glasses, penis, mine, obviously. And my fantastic brand new Samsung Galaxy Note 4. Thank you very much.
Yeah, we're
Yay!
not buddies. We can push them together and make Galaxy babies. Which would just be, I suppose, like an S4 Mini or something.
Or an S5, yeah.
An S5 Mini. Anyway, say goodbye, Dan.
Bye.
Bye.